Kruse Control. I know it's been a while. Just starting off the top of the show, I want to talk about a couple tragedies that happened to the entertainment industry. And the first one is, of course, Pee Wee Herman. Paul Reubens has passed away at 70 years old. Now, if you're like, who's Paul Reubens? I mean, come on, that's Pee Wee Herman, as you can tell. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little homage to him tonight. But he died at 70. And of course, he has his controversy in his life. But he was still rocking the Pee Wee Herman thing, trying to make it happen. He had two more projects actually in the work right now. It was called The Pee Wee Herman Story and also Pee Wee's Playhouse, the movie that was going to be coming out that he was in development with. And unfortunately, those projects won't come. If you're a big Pee Wee Herman fan, it's a sad day for you and for everybody out there that is, because you never want to hear this stuff. You never want to hear this stuff. Another tragedy that happened right before we come out on the air, too, is this Angus Cloud passed away. And he's from Euphoria. So if you watch that show, I know it's pretty popular right now. It's pretty big. Everyone's always talking about it. I still haven't checked it out on YouTube. But yeah, unfortunately, Angus Cloud passed away today. His father had passed last week, apparently. And he deals with a lot of mental health issues. And he was going through a lot of trauma because they're like best friends. And they didn't say it was suicide, but the family said they're not telling anything right now. But it sounds like it might be something like that. I guess only time will tell. But it's unfortunate regardless that we lost another actor like that that's dedicating so much time to the art. So RIP everybody. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. I'm your host, as always, Brian Kruse. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time. Happy Monday. We're back into a new situation, so hopefully it works out okay tonight. Of course, it's a new trial and error type thing, but welcome to Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. And, we got a lot to talk about today because it has been a long time. Some stuff that happened while we weren't here. Some stuff that just came up now because stuff's always going down. But I got to introduce the very first person that's here with me tonight. As always, my lovely co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. Happy Monday.
Monday.
How's the Monday going?
I mean, it's Monday. That's pretty much self-explanatory as far as I'm concerned. Not my favorite day of the week. I'm a Friday gal, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, though. There's a lot of stuff you can accomplish during the week, right? Starting it off great, and, you can... have a lot of time. So
you're a beacon of hope, Brian. I am the opposite of that.
It's something. I don't know. I don't know. But also joining us back here on Kruse Control, Miss Rachel Blakely. Rachel, how you doing tonight? Welcome back to the program. Welcome to Kruse Control. It's been a while. How you been?
It's been a minute. I'm glad to be back. Super happy to be talking about Barbie today. It's been like 2 weeks since it came out, and every single day since I watched it, I'm like, when is Brian gonna be back? I know, and
like waiting for it to happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, but you were saying before, I know how stoked you were about the project. Sabrina wasn't as much so, but she still, loved Barbie as a kid. So it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see, what her perspective will be along with you, because I think she likes it a little bit more than I thought she would. So. But it's doing great. Second weekend, big numbers, and it might lead to it's massive. It might lead to the very first female-directed film to reach $1 billion. So that'd be a big accomplishment for Greta Gerwig if it happens. So I hope it does. Because, it's a big milestone that needs to happen. It should have happened a long time ago, It should have happened. Because if it does happen, that will be some breaking news. Everybody, the very first thing I want to dive right into it. People don't want to be around Kevin Spacey all the time. And of course, it's been like 6 years that this went down. And I'm like, he had, when the Me Too started, he was one of the very first ones people went after. Of course, all the talks about being on set. They're talking about how he had to pay $31 million to Netflix for House of Cards because a lot of the crew members felt they were sexually, attacked by him. So he already paid that off. He got off, though. He's been acquitted. And now the ramifications are like, does he have a career still? Will that change his whole life? Or will he be able to go back to 2017 Kevin Spacey? I don't really think he will. I think that people look at this a certain way and they say, okay, you may be acquitted, but this is different than Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp it's a domestic thing. People keep saying it's like Johnny Depp. That was a domestic thing. This is like a lot of people coming forward being like, hey, man, I was uncomfortable around you. So I don't think you can go back into a work environment that easily. Of course, people will probably hire him, but I don't know. I want to put it around the group because I want to know what people are thinking about this, because it's a very interesting thing, because he is acquitted. So they not do this only in these cases. There's still a lot of people that said that he has. So Rachel, what do you think? Do you think that Kevin Spacey can have a career again, go back to the old person, or do you think there are going to be a lot of ramifications for everything that's been coming out in the media since 2017?
I mean, acquitted doesn't really mean much in the court of public opinion. Like, OJ was acquitted.
Yeah. People are still like,
nobody's going to hire OJ for anything. Like, the dude clearly killed his wife. So Kevin Spacey clearly molested a bunch of boys. So
yeah.
But do you think people are going to hire him? Because there's like a producer that said, Rachel, like that. Oh yeah, he says there's
lining up. Probably not. Is there one or two? Sure. Like, people hired Roman Polanski still. And Woody Allen. So, like, obviously you can get away with doing some shit as a white dude and still maintain your career. So sure he might get job offers. Do I think they're going to be quality and for quality projects? Probably not. But if he's like, oh, I'm getting offers, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, but he's really into it right now. He's like, oh yeah, all these big offers are coming my way, and I'm ready to rock and roll, get back to work.
Of course. If he wants to convince people he's still worth hiring, I would be out there too. Like, oh yeah, everyone should hire. I'm in high demand.
I'm a hot commodity.
Hot commodity. He's everywhere. I think that, and there was one producer saying too that about the whole situation being like, this happened. I think the exact words were pretty much like, but one former chief said this, a studio chief, that not going to prison doesn't qualify as an indicator of someone's exciting career prospects. So that says a lot of stuff. I want to show you quickly before Sabrina gets in there. This is what Kevin Spacey actually said after he was acquitted.
I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken the time to examine all of the evidence and all of the facts carefully before they reach their decision. And I am humbled.
Humbled by getting away with it.
He's humbled by it, yeah. Sabrina, what do you think? You think Kevin Spacey's back on the rise? His star's back in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and everyone's going to be shining up real nice?
First of all, before I get to this jackass, the comments, because we restarted, are not coming up on our feed anymore here. So I'm trying to go back to YouTube and check them like here and there. Lexi said that she thinks that he did it. Chris said Kevin Spacey should take a seat. Jacob said Canon will hire Spacey for their new edgy film about child trafficking. Oh my God. So those are, I'm sorry, I don't have it on my screen, so I'm going to try to like verbally say them when they come up, if I can. I just want to let you guys know that. And secondly, this guy, like I think I said the last time we talked about him, there's like upwards of 40 people that said that he either grabbed them or touched them or forced them to do things, or, Anthony Rapp woke up with him on top of him. I mean, there's no way that and they're all like, like one person was a reporter, one person was a bartender, one person was a masseuse, one person was Anthony Rapp. Then the Richard Dreyfuss's son at a table read for a play. He like reached under the table and grabbed his balls. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he is a phenomenal actor. He was my favorite actor of all time, hands down, until all this shit went down. And I still think he's a phenomenal actor, not a phenomenal fucking human being. And I think there is no way on God's green earth that he didn't commit a good amount of those things that people are accusing him. I'm sure there's a couple people that jumped on the bandwagon, of course.
Yes.
But I'm sure that, but there was like, I mentioned this also, that the theater company that he was a part of, there were like 20 people within that theater company. 20 people that had a complaint against him. He had to pay $31 million. It's not a one-off thing. nothing, and there's no. I mean, the problem is with the trial, and I believe I said this again with Anthony Rapp. Like, what kind of evidence can you produce for something that has happened such a long time ago? Like, it's hard to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this absolutely happened, and like a jury is given instructions to do that specifically based on what evidence is given to you in court. And so, doing their civic duty, I cannot say beyond a reasonable doubt or beyond a shadow of a doubt or whatever the fuck it is that he did this with the evidence that I am given today in court from something that happened a long, long time ago. So like, it's kind of like, and that's what fucking sucks about all of any sexual abuse trials. Like, that's why fucking rapists go free all the fucking time. You know, if you didn't go to the cops and get a rape kit, it's basically like, that guy raped me. And they're like, well, what proof do you have? And I'm like, the proof is that he raped me.
There's
like,
a backlog of like 7 to 10 years on a lot of rape kits.
Yeah.
Because there's
it's so hard to prove something like that already. Now, when you take something that is so long ago, like, it's even harder, you know, like with that Anthony Rapp thing, he was 14. That was so long ago. How the fuck are you going to prove that in court?
It's a long time.
You know, it's just, so I you know, the odds were in his favor. You know, it sucks, you know, that people, you know, I mean, I hope that at least through all of this, that he fucking learned a lesson and won't do that anymore. That's my biggest hope, because if you're going to...
he learned he can get away from it, or get away with it.
Well...
Yeah.
But
that's the whole thing he did. I mean,
hopefully, hopefully enough of his power has been reduced that people feel more comfortable coming forward. Because put yourself in a lot of those people's positions. Like, that is a powerful Hollywood person. Like, it's really hard to report against people who could ruin your career. That's why Weinstein got away with it for so fucking long.
Yeah,
for years, you know, and it was like, what are you doing? And the thing is, too, that was the thing people have talked about in Hollywood too about Kevin Spacey. There's been rumors going around like what it's like to be working on set with him, and then of course these things with, you know, Netflix comes out, the lawsuits and all that. It's just like, yeah, it's a lot. And I don't think he's going to have the blockbuster career he thought he was going to have again right after this. I just don't think so. And I think also he's going to do independent films, which he's been doing already. He's done a few, and I think you'll get more of that. Especially with everything that's happening now, all these independent films are being like, you know, pushed to the forefront because AMPTP will not sign any kind of contract with the SAG-AFTRA or with the Writers Guild of America. And that's just where it's going. It's going independent. And because it's going independent.
Kevin Spacey and Amber Heard and Woody Allen can all get together and make a fucking movie that no one wants to watch.
Yes, they can.
Roman Polanski.
He can direct.
Is he still alive?
I have to, Roman Polanski, I don't think so. He's like 700, like 18 years ago. Jacob corrected me. I said canon because he didn't make two separate words. It was QAnon. So sorry about that. And of course, I'm going to read this comment. Lexi agrees with me. Yes. And Chris said that the problem is Kevin Spacey. So sorry. I'm trying to do like some light comment reading segments here. I apologize.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's he's just doing independent stuff. Maybe a big time producer like Rachel said will hire him, one or two eventually, and test the waters.
Oh, for sure they will. He's a phenomenal actor. Yeah. Like, someone will like pride themselves on like being the first and like giving him a role. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucked up and stupid. Like, I first of all, he's Kevin Spacey, right? So he's made shit tons of movies. He has shit tons of money. He doesn't need to be gracing the screen anymore. Like, we don't need to see him, and like, people don't. But the thing is like, no publicity is bad publicity. Kim Kardashian taught everybody in the world that, okay? So he is in the news now. There is someone, because he is a phenomenal fucking actor, someone will absolutely be like, okay, great, I have a project. I bet he was reading fucking scripts as we speak, unfortunately. 100%. So it's gonna happen. Like I said before, I'm Rachel, you're probably right, but I really hope that maybe now that he's like out and it's, you know, not a taboo as he saw it. I don't know. Maybe he'll just be in a fucking relationship with somebody and not like grab people inappropriately. I hope that maybe that can be a way forward for him, because he's not going to be fucking behind bars. Or there's not going to be any fucking penalty. Like, if he could at least, because that's the effect, right? You put someone in jail because you don't want them to do that thing again, right? Mm-hmm. So a murderer, you don't want to let on the street because he's going to murder another person, right? So like, hopefully this lesson with these 2 cases, even though he did get away with it, it was a lot. He lost his career for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's enough for him to be like, well, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I will have I'll go on a Grinder and find someone to grab their nutsack with willingly. Okay. Maybe he can do that. I don't know. That's where I'm going with
I
that.
just hope, like, if anything, if he knows now at this point that he has been inappropriate in work environments and around the world, maybe learn something from, like Sabrina's saying, and maybe he'll be a better person because of it. And, overall, he's Kevin Spacey. Somebody will hire him, and I guess he'll be reported before you know it.
And it's so frustrating because he will get work again. Because he's a white dude. Like, how long did Winona Ryder lose her career over a little bit of shoplifting?
A long time.
Yeah. A long time, yeah.
Yeah, well, Winona Ryder was excellent. Peak of her career, she shoplifted
over a little bit of shoplifting.
No one got hurt. It's shoplifting. Who the fuck cares? But
she finally made a comeback.
Out here molesting a bunch of people, and he's gonna get his job back like 2 seconds.
Hard molestation. And one girl said that he raped her. Like there was a girl that said that he raped her.
Well, that's the thing. You're gonna have people all over the place, something like that. I think he was saying before when he came out that he was, it's just he couldn't, he's a sexual person. So, and that's always something that they'll say. But
that doesn't mean you get to touch people when you don't ask for it.
You're a huge movie star. You can find somebody to fuck you, dude.
All of the people. Not the people that you just grab their dick when no one's asking for it. Like, you can't just, like, even...
Don't grab them by the pole.
Yeah, period. Like, even someone that I am actively having sex with, if they just, like, walk over to me and put their hand on my vagina, I would be like, excuse you, sir, please step the fuck back. Or not right now. Like, what?
Vagina grabbing.
Don't do that. Like, you don't just, I mean, I don't know. It's just like when someone does not, like, and I'm not talking about that situation, but like, if someone does not want something, like, what gives you the right to like decide that, like, and even if, like the guy, like I said, the table read, Richard Dreyfuss' son, they were at a fucking table read, reading a script, and he reached under the table. What the actual fuck, dude? Like, it's not like they were having a conversation, that there could have been a misjudged smile or a smirk or maybe he touched my arm. Oh, I thought that was a sexual touch of the arm. Like, there's no way that there was any signals being crossed. You're at a fucking table read, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's what these creeps get off on. They get off on, asserting their power over people. A lot of the times, rape and molestation is about the power. It's about a power move, not about the actual sex. It's the lack of consent is what they like.
Yeah.
But it's also like, but again, there's that aspect, but there's also the job aspect too. It's like, there's no place for this on set. The days are too long. People are sacrificing so much. You don't want to go to work and feel uncomfortable on top of that. That's a big thing. And that's why I would hope a lot of employers will think about that before hiring. Again, he's a fucking great actor, so I understand if they're going to hire him, but it's a slippery slope, and he might fall right back into it like he did before, or he might not. I hope not. And I hope that, whatever comes from this,
excuse me,
only time will tell, and I hope that everybody will be okay. It's the same thing I'm thinking about, though. It's like I'm saying he's doing independent stuff, and that's what SAG-AFTRA is talking about right now, too, is independent stuff. And the problem is they still have no deal with AMPTP. That's still, of course, just lingering on, and it's going to linger on for a long time, if you're wondering out there. It's going to take some time for them to get a deal worked out. But if you're wondering about the independent scene, here's what's actually happening. So they have an interim agreement right now. That's what SAG-AFTRA has, but they're saying they're legit independent filmmakers. And the idea is that this is a vital part of their strike tactics. So if you're wondering why they're doing this, because they're actually having the producers of these independent films pay what they want from the AMPTP. So they're agreeing upon this interim regulation. That's exactly what they want to get out of the AMPTP contract. And so when that's ratified and signed, it'll all correspond the same way. They're not going on some old contract. The independent producers are actually being like, yeah, we'll pay you what you want. It's not a big deal. And that's why SAG-AFTRA is allowing so many projects to move forward and allowing actors. Now, some actors are still saying like, hey, we're on strike. We're not doing this. But Sarah Silverman was like, fuck that. I got an independent job. I told them to go fuck themselves because I'm on strike. So like some people will do that, but some people will still work in SAG. So this is a way of initiating working and actually having people have a way of, making some money. And also forcing the producers at AMPTP to see like, we can do business with everybody else around the world with this contract. Everyone agrees upon it. So why are you not agreeing upon it? Because everybody else can do it. This is independent projects. They don't have as much money as you, and they creep through our actual terms for our actors. So you should do the same thing. So we'll see how this works. If it backfires, if it actually works. But Fran Drescher has really pushed it forward, and she's really fighting for the people. So I'm excited to see what happens moving forward. If it does work, to get the producers on board, it could happen, or or we might never get a deal. I don't know, but I heard about this. I'm going to talk about it because it is a big update. Because people have been wondering and asking. You see it on Twitter. You see these actors coming out saying like, "Should I do this independent film or not?" So Sabrina, what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea that SAG is doing this? Do you think it will be a good ploy to make AMPTP sign that contract, or do you think at the end of the day, this is it's going to hurt the strike?
I mean, it's. Honestly, if it was a truly independent, film or project or whatever, they would be abiding under a different contract anyway. Like they're not going to be like it's all budgetary. So if you have a smaller budget, you're paying less money, right? So like there's some agreements where you don't even have to pay your actors, like it can be deferred. I know that like that type of stuff, where you're not going to obviously have Sarah Silverman in or anybody else, like that type of stuff. If you want to let that shit shoot, fine. But 2 of the projects that she greenlit were A24 projects. And if you're not familiar, A24 is a huge production company. They produce everything everywhere all at once. Amongst a million, like if you were following award season last year at the Oscars, the Golden Globes, they made at least half the movies that were nominated. So I don't see really how that is considered. And I know that they're not specifically part of the AMPTP, but when those movies are finished, they're going to sell to a fucking studio, period. Like that is what's going to happen. So I just don't, it's confusing to me, like how you're putting a huge production company like A24 in the same category as, like some like PBS, like fucking show about Jesus Christ. Like, I just don't see how they're in the same fucking category. That's a real thing. There's like some Jesus Christ show that they've greenlit. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
The only thing that's really, I would say though, too, when I was reading about this more, is that the fact that they're in this interim agreement, they're saying that when they do sell this project to a studio, they have to abide by the terms and conditions that SAG-AFTRA is asking for.
Well, the terms and conditions that they're asking for, like right now, are the terms and conditions that they wind up agreeing upon whenever that happens. This is not going to be finished in 5 minutes.
I know, but they wind up agreeing upon.
Yeah,
what they agree upon is like the standard. Then all this stuff will be back, be back paid to be the same exact thing. That's what they said. So it's not like they're going off old contracts. They're going off what they want.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I mean, A24, I'm sure is paying them exactly what they want, and they're doing exactly what they ask in all the capacities. I'm sure. But the Jesus Christ Superstar is probably not. They're probably in some sort of a, like a lower, situation. Isn't that a play? What? Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? It's a play. That's not what it's called. Obviously, I made it very clear. I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. I'm not religious. I don't know what to tell you.
Jesus Christ.
But Chris said in the comments, by the way, before I even said any of this, because it's way up there, suffering Jesus Christ on a stick. So thank you, Chris, for being supportive of my bastardization of whatever the show is. He also thinks it's stupid that they have waivers because there's a strike. I just read that as well. So
a lot of actors are being
now we're caught up on the comments.
Yeah, but they're saying though that's what SAG's saying. It's going to be a good strategy because it's going to cause the AMPTP to have more competition down the line. To me too, I get that, but I'm also like I'm listening in the same boat. I'm like, this is solidarity. Like we're not supposed to be working, we're not working.
Because eventually the studio will make money on this film that they're shooting right now. Period.
So it is
especially the A24 things. You know what I mean?
It could discourage them from actually getting to the table because they know content's coming. What do you think about this, Rachel? Do you think this is a good ploy by SAG-AFTRA, or do you think, like Sabrina does, that this is going to actually hurt them in the negotiation room moving forward?
Going into this conversation, I thought A24 had agreed on what SAG-AFTRA wants right now, what they had offered to the AMTPP, BTP. They agreed to what SAG-AFTRA had asked for initially. Yes. So I think that
they did
really good leverage to go, well, look, this smaller studio can afford it. WB, what the fuck is up with you? You've got more money than A24. So I think it does give them some room, but what I hadn't considered is what you guys brought up, is that they ultimately agreed to whatever it ends up being.
Right.
So which is, it's kind of like almost a bluff, it feels like. So that's something I hadn't considered, and you guys are obviously way more educated on any of this than I am, being in the thick of it.
But I mean,
I just hear everything secondhand.
You get it though too. It's like it just makes us a little nervous, and everyone. And that's why a lot of actors moving forward have been like, we're just gonna pick it. We're not gonna go work. But a lot of people also have. They've signed the contracts and gone back to work. So
just really quickly, just to give you a light idea of what A24 has made. Moonlight, which won Best Picture on the Oscars a couple years ago, that year that La La Land and Warren Beatty read the wrong name. Ex Machina, Lady Bird, also highly celebrated. Greta Gerwig won a lot of Oscars. The Green Room, Everything Everywhere All at Once won last year Best Picture for the Oscar. Not to mention a million other Oscars. Okay. Swiss Army Man was their first thing, actually, that we spoke about a while ago. I'm sure a lot of people don't know that, but The Witch, that horror movie from a little while back, that was also highly celebrated. Uncut Gems, Room, again, Oscar winner. Yeah, I mean, they have made
Midsummer. They made Midsummer, right?
Shit ton of fucking movies. It is not on this list, but this is not all of them. So possibly. I mean, there's so many movies that they have made that are like the movies. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know how it's considered independent. I mean, I know like they're not part of the AMPTP because they're not like a studio. Like it's a production company, right?
Yes.
So like, all of these movies go somewhere to be distributed, marketed, and all the things. And that is going to be to a fucking studio. You know what I mean? Like they don't do that themselves and put it out themselves. So like, I don't understand how that's okay. Like other things, like truly independent things, I don't have a problem with, and at least like, if some people are working, some crew are working, some actors are working. So, it does give life to the entertainment industry, but, I don't know. I don't know that it has the desired effect. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get what they're saying, but at the end of the day, like we're saying too, it's like, I mean, we don't know what's going to be agreed upon at the end, we hope for the best, and, it could be great. It could be horrible. It just, it might be like what the producers want. Just sign something, and then, get back to work because you need to. And so maybe this will help, maybe the top 2%, continue getting their money, but it's not going to help the bulk of the union moving forward, having these independent films moving. I think it's only going to hurt them too, but I get it. I understand the strategy, but I'm still not sold on it.
Yeah.
But, we're going to have to wait and see what happens to this. But the SAG-AFTRA strike has only been like, it's only a couple weeks in, so we got plenty of time before they actually get back to the table. I guarantee it. So, we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully the independent thing doesn't screw them. Hopefully it does help out. But when the fall comes around, there'll be a lot less content, and they're going to need content. They need to get back to work, and we're going to have to in order to have stuff for you out there to watch if you're not just, watching this, because it's very important. People love going to the movies and going to the TV shows at home and watching content. And people have been loving one thing. They've been loving it so much in the theaters. It's been one of those things that everyone's talking about. And the marketing for this was fantastic as it was. So I think that helped tremendously. And then everything gone into it and the IP with it. I'm just saying it's a huge hit. And that's our featured story of the night. Let's get it. We all know it. It's Barbie, of course. Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling are just racking in the money along with Greta Gerwig too. It's like honestly, guys, at this point they've already made like $700 million. It's insane because for a movie like this, it's like they were expecting, 120, I think, opening weekend. It like doubled that. This is 2 weekends in. They expected to drop a lot the numbers. It only dropped like 30%. And it's like, it's huge. Like normally it drops like 60% second weekend movies, but this just barely dropped at 775 million globally. That's a huge hit. And it could end up being the very first female directed $1 billion grossing movie, which is insane. It's about time. It's about fucking time, right? Everyone's saying that too. But Barbie's domestic box office so far is $351 million. Huge. but overseas it's made 423.1 million. It's a lot of money. And it's like, and it just keeps going and going and going. At this rate, by next weekend, it'll be $1 billion for sure. And people, like, I get it. I get it so much. It makes sense to me why people are watching this. Everyone's like, oh, you watch second weekend, you watch it sophomore weekend, it's going to drop tremendously. And it didn't. It did excellent. And we went to the theater and saw this too. So we're all going to talk about this, but I want to give Rachel the floor first because I know Rachel's been like just ready to talk about Barbie. We're doing the trailers back. We're talking about building up to it. And I know you want to see it opening. I know you're excited to talk about it. So Rachel, what do you think? Was it a big hit for you or what?
I've seen it twice.
Nice.
Because I went and saw it opening, and then I went and took Lexi to it, and it blew my expectations out of the water. Like, I've been excited about this since the first time we talked about it. And I was like doubling down. I was like, this is going to be a movie that changes things. This movie's going to win awards. And like all you haters in the comments were like, no, it's not going to be that. And I'm like, just you watch. And here we are. This movie is going to be something that people are talking about decades from now. This movie is not going to go anywhere. It's going to consistently be a movie that people want to share with their friends, that girls are watching at sleepover parties. And like, this is such a great film, and it's important. And it feels silly to be like, a Barbie movie is important, but the message at the end of the day is so good. And America Ferrera's speech is just empowering, and like, you're gonna see people doing that speech in like auditions for years to come. I hope you like America Ferrera's speech monologue, because you're gonna hear people use it in auditions.
Lexi said that Barbie is the most beautiful film that she's seen.
Yeah, and she watched Everything Everywhere All at Once 2 weeks before seeing it.
Oh wow!
Also beautiful.
That's a very different vibe from that too. That's very different.
Very different vibe.
Different kind of beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But visually, that's that visualization. I mean, the way they the set design, it's stunning. Like, and then people are giving it like shit. But I'm like, because of like, oh, it's based on something. Yeah, but they created that. They made that world real, and they brought it to life. It's amazing.
I would pay all of the money to go to that set. Where is
all
it?
Of the money
to go there. You can have everything I will ever earn in my life, Greta.
Send me and Rachel set.
I will pay all of the money.
Let me
all
go
of it.
Hang out at the Barbie Weird House.
What do you think about some of this casting though too, Rachel? What do you think about, because like for us, like I know Sabrina will go in too, but Michael Cera, like really sleeper.
So good.
Like I was surprised.
Michael Cera as Alan, 10 out of 10, fantastic.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling really surprised me. He fucking killed it, knocked it out of the park.
He did a great job.
And all of his press tour interviews that he did up until this point are fucking hilarious. If you haven't watched any of like his press interviews, they're so funny. Like this is what we mean when it's like fun to go into method. Like he went full Ken and he's not coming back. This is not like Austin Butler and Elvis. Like that was annoying. Ryan Gosling just is Ken now.
He's Ken now. Yeah, people will probably say the rest of his career. You're probably right.
It's amazing. Especially once they make if that sequel is slated still.
You know, they're already talking about sequel. They want to do like 2 and 3 Barbie. They want to do a Ken spinoff. I guess the Ken spinoff is going to be happening. But when they lead it, and you know, we're getting some spoilers too if you haven't watched Barbie. But the way they lead it too, it's kind of leaving for a Ken movie. You know, that was the one thing. It's kind of like, you know,
Ken finding himself.
Go. Yeah, finding himself.
Yeah.
Sabrina, what do you think about this? I know Sabrina was like,
Ken enough.
He's Ken enough. Sabrina, I know this is what I was talking about earlier today when we were on the show before. It's like Sabrina wasn't 100% sold on Barbie, and Rachel was, and they've been going back and forth. So what do you think, Sabrina? Was Barbie surprising for you? Did it make you like oh, it's a great movie? Or were you still kind of like not sure about it after seeing it?
No, I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. It was. I mean, I took issue with some things. I didn't love every second of it. It was one of the most visually stunning movies I've ever seen in my life. And the DP actually is the same DP who shoots all Spielberg's movies. You know, so he's shot The Irishman and not Spielberg. I'm so sorry, Scorsese. He just did Killers of the Flower Moon with Scorsese, and then he did Barbie. crazy and totally stark, like different, like, you know, the darkness and the light, but like it is visually stunning. And like the accuracy to the actual Barbie, like toys is insane to me. You know what I mean? Like I can't, like it is so crazy to me. Oh my God. And Michael Cera, my favorite person in the movie, by the way. My favorite person in the movie. As soon as when we were walking out of the theater, I was like, I know everyone's talking about how great Ryan Gosling was, and he was great. It's probably my favorite performance by him, honestly. But Michael Cera, fucking A+, bro. The best. Also, Margot Robbie, spectacular. She's a spectacular actress. But America Ferrera, fucking nailed it. She was amazing.
Kate McKinnon.
Like, oh, yeah, Kate McKinnon was great. I wish she was in it more. Unfortunately, she wasn't. A fun Easter egg with Kate McKinnon is America Ferrera made her weird Barbie. She's the one that cut her hair and drew on her face and fucked her up.
Yeah.
Like when she was a little kid, like she was, I remember she was in the car, she's like, I had a weird Barbie. Like that is her weird Barbie. She is apparently the Mattel toy speaker. And so she can control the Barbies from the real world, I guess. I thought that was really fun. I love that it started with that the 2001 Space Odyssey, fucking music and setting and all the things that was crazy. And I love that Margot Robbie looked exactly like the first Barbie doll ever, which I leaned over and whispered. And you know, the fact that after that we kind of like moved into this like crazy perfect land that was so beautiful and fun. Like I love that, you know, people are like, well, why do you water in the shower? I'm like, well, because in a toy there is no water in the shower. Like it was so true to the next shoot. That's why she floats off the roof. Like because there, you know what I mean. You can't. Barbie cannot fit down the stairs in that house, by the way. So like the accuracy to the toys I thought was you know, brilliant that they did it that way. I do still take slight issue with the fact that they were the pointed toe and the flat feet thing, but yet everyone could move their arms fully. Like nobody walked around like this. There was no Barbies that did this, which is what my Barbies looked like when I was growing up. I know now they have joints and shit, but they didn't. You know what I mean? So like I think it's for you to pick one thing and not another is agitating to me a little bit. But at the same time, I really appreciate that. In the fridge, there was just stickers of stuff inside the fridge. Like on the door, there was a carton of milk, yes, but inside the fridge, it was like stickers. It's like yogurt.
It was so cute.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And it was like visually stunning. So that I really enjoyed. I love Will Ferrell in literally everything. So he, of course, like once they got in the real world, I loved his ridiculousness. And I think that
I do feel like he was kind of like he did some, like at the end I'm like, why is he here though? I'm like at the end it just seemed kind of like weird.
So that they can pitch him ordinary Barbie, Brian. And then the people are like, oh, well, that will make money. And he's like, okay, cool, ordinary Barbie it is. It's Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell. Well, I don't know.
I can't
have a problem with that.
Mattel let them get away with all of that, because you know Mattel had to sign off on the script, and they just let them be like, Mattel's a bunch of dudes making toys for little girls, and they actively made fun of it. Like
but they also showed the creator of Barbie, like, and she, by the way, Rhea Perlman fucking killed it. Like she was amazing. So like the way that it's done is like, I feel like it was very smart for Mattel to let them do that, because now you're going to have like a whole, like, first of all, Barbie's kind of like fell off. You know what I mean? Like when we were little, Barbie was a big deal. When my mom was little, Barbie was a big deal. Like now Barbie's not really that big of a deal. And even just the hype and the posters and the things, like kids think it's a kid's movie, and it's really not.
Really not a kid's movie.
It's not. We're taking my 7-year-old nieces next week to see it, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to be bored. But
I mean,
they saw the poster and they are dying to see it.
Like they want to see Barbie. Yeah,
that's the reaction you're gonna get. It's renewing. Like they're gonna make and that's like I said. That's why they're trying to do this robot bullshit we were talking about before. What the fuck was it? Rock'em Sock'em
Robots. Yeah,
Rock'em Sock'em Vin Diesel bullshit. Moves. I mean, it's just, I feel like they're for Mattel, it was a very good move, and also it is the message that Barbie is now like it's like the Barbie land where all the Barbies were in charge and shit, where they're like, we do everything and we run everything and we have all the jobs. We're the doctors, we're the lawyers, we're the astronauts. And that is true of Barbie. they were all perfect though when I was growing up. But now they're not. Now they're not all fucking blonde and look like Margot Robbie. Now there's like brunettes, and then there's like chubby girls, there's short girls, there's tall girls. There's there's different ethnicities. Like they've made the dolls look more like the world. You know what I mean? Like the world that we live in. Like they're not all Margot Robbie, which also brilliant that you call her stereotypical Barbie.
Yeah, it's really
that's the original Barbie, and Barbie was like that for a very long time. And I even watching it, I'm like, they don't have that Barbie. There's no Barbie. And all of those Barbies are actually Barbies. You know what I mean? So like I didn't
Midge
like
was there too, or Mitch was there?
Oh yeah, Midge. She was pregnant. That's all.
I love the deepholes they had. They had Midge. They had Earring Magic Ken. They had Teen
The
Talk
video
Barbie.
play Barbie. The video whatever with the camera on her back.
Ken too?
Oh, Sugar Daddy Ken. Oh my God. The pooping dog. Are you kidding?
The pooping dog.
The pooping bug. And of course
those
it's
were
like
all
Kate
real
McKinnon's
toys.
house. Yep, they were 100%.
And as someone who's been a lifelong Barbie fan, it was so cool to see all these toys that you thought they would just like not talk about.
Yeah.
No, she specifically went after those toys.
Yeah.
Even Will Ferrell's character was like, Midge, I didn't know you were still here.
He was like, oh, wait, good to see you. His reaction to her was spectacular.
I'm surprised Mattel signed off on this whole thing. Honestly, I really am.
It was a brilliant movie. I don't know why. It marketed everything.
The one thing I will say is they had Alan there. They had Midge there. Alan is Midge's baby daddy, and they just never had them.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
His baby daddy. That's awesome.
When they brought Alan back in the 2000s, they had him packaged with Midge because in the 90s, Midge and Alan got married. So they had Midge pregnant with Alan's baby. There's a whole like backstory. Barbie has like canon lore. Everything in Barbie is like
canon lore.
Canon lore. So maybe that's for the sequel. They're waiting for the sequel for that, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Mattel wants more.
Midge was like in a mound of grass, like by herself. Like she was not interacting with anybody. It wasn't just Alan that wasn't interacting with her.
But what do you think? Do you think that they should be doing?
Party? She had a little.
Was she?
She was dancing. Yeah, she was there.
I don't remember.
We were all there.
I remember her dancing.
That was hilarious. Ryan Gosling was like doing the dances and moving towards her and stuff. That was pretty good. He did a good job there.
It was so good.
But do we need a spin-off? We need a sequel, though? That's the question. We need a sequel to this. Do you think this would have the same numbers it had, as a sequel? Or do you think this is like a one-time deal? I mean, sometimes they try to like make a sequel to something that's such a big hit. It just doesn't work, So what do you think, Rachel?
I loved Barbie. I loved every second. That's probably my new favorite movie. Because it's like Scott Pilgrim for girls.
Yeah.
And Scott Pilgrim used to be my favorite movie, so here we are. Yeah.
I will say that there is not. I mean, I'm not saying that you are not correct because you obviously have your feelings and I have my feelings. But the last line of the movie, can you please tell me why the fuck we had to have that?
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was great.
Literally not at all.
I thought it was great because earlier in the movie they're like, we don't have gender.
Yeah, they talk about it all the time. I know, but it's like,
which is like real. It's so funny, so funny. And then the construction guys are like, I don't care. I'm like, that's hilarious.
I really think that of all the things.
I think it was a great line. I think it was funny, but I do also have mixed feelings on it because the whole point of the film is like, look at all these different ways you can be a woman.
Yeah.
And for them to, and it is such.
To funnel it into a gynecologist.
It's a fundamentally feminine experience for a lot of people to go to the gynecologist. But also you have trans men who go to the gynecologist and you have trans women who don't have that equipment. So I do feel like it was a little bit exclusionary in that sense. And that's my only problem with it. Otherwise, I think it was hilarious.
I just thought it was like not. I didn't. You know what? Maybe my problem lied with like she was like ready to go, and like I was like, oh, she's going to her first day at work. Is it a job interview? Like, where's she going?
Right.
And then they're like, you're gonna get go. I'm like, what? What?
It's such a human experience to go to the doctor. Barbies have jobs. Barbies go to jobs. Barbies don't go to the doctor.
They do. The doctor rushed in and got Ken off the floor after he hit the wave.
That's fair.
That's true.
Okay, so maybe that's why it had to be. Maybe that's
There's
why
not
it
a
had to be a
gynecologist
gynecologist.
Barbie, but there is a Dr. Barbie.
Because
Gynecologist
maybe
Barbie,
that's
the
why
next
it
one.
had to be a gynecologist. So, she had to get her new human part checked out.
I was super bummed. I don't know why it just bummed me out. I was like, why? And also because there's that is the number one thing for me that doesn't make it a kids movie. You know what I mean? Like my 8-year-old niece would be like, what is the gynecologist? And I'm like, I'm not having that conversation with her. She wants me to take her to see Barbie. I was like, it's not for kids, Lila. It's not for kids. Like I will take you to see it if your mom lets you see it, which I doubt, but also not for kids. The last time the movie is about going to the gynecologist. She's like, what's a gynecologist? And I have to have a conversation about your vagina, which I don't want to do. It's
a doctor for adults.
Not that it's. I'm not saying that it's dirty. I'm just saying it is. You're literally pried open with metal forceps, and they stick a Q-tip in there and stuff. Like that's not something that
with your 7-year-old niece. But
I'm
just like it's a type of doctor.
I'm just saying.
Let it be at that.
It's I know, but that's not. Well, why did you put that in there? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? And by the way, children have Google, so don't. Doesn't matter what I say.
It's PG-13.
There's the Google.
So I don't. Fuck them kids. It's PG-13.
Come on, kids. Just like, it's not always good for kids. It's not appropriate for kids. Like it's like Kruse Control here. Not appropriate for kids.
That's very true.
I don't think it needs a sequel. Like, would it be interesting to see what Barbie's doing on her own as a human? Sure. Would it be interesting to see Ken find himself? I guess. Only because Ryan Gosling's so funny as Ken. But
he's great as Ken.
I feel like any sequels or any follow-ups might water down the film.
Yeah, it might lose a lot of what it was going for. And sometimes something like this is a good one-off, especially if they're so successful. But studios, they want more money and they expect it to do big. And then they do another one.
And anything that has a message to it, you lose the message the more you do.
Yeah. And also, but see, the thing is, the only reason why this could be okay, because obviously the Ken message is going to be very different than the Barbie message. The Ken message is going to be finding out what his purpose is going to be in life, as opposed to just being Barbie's,
His job is beach. He has a job.
Right, but he's beaching it up.
But I'm saying, I feel like though it would be like this movie was, it's a completely different thing. So if they did do a Ken spinoff, I feel like if Greta Gerwig, wrote it, and I can't remember her writing partner's name. I'm so sorry to be disrespectful, but
it's her husband.
Their husband, yeah.
But it's not. But his last name is not Gerwig, and it's I can't remember his name.
He's
but
just Ken.
If they wrote it,
she's Greta Gerwig.
He's just Ken. Yeah, exactly. So if Greta and Ken wrote it, I think that it could be, it could be good. It could be good, and it might be not. I feel like this the first one's always the winner. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like even if it is great, it probably won't do as well as this. But I feel like that has a little bit of promise. As so far as doing more Barbies, not necessary. We did it. It's perfect. You don't need to fuck with it. It's good. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. I just also
Baumbach? Noah Baumbach?
I feel like
Noah,
Ken
yes,
did learn his lesson, and Ken did grow in the film on his own. So
well, no, but at the end, remember he was like, but I just don't. At the end of the film, he was like, but it's Barbie and Ken.
And then Barbie, it's Barbie, and it's Ken.
Right, so exactly. But so basically that was what I think where the sequel comes in, because he's and now I'm going to figure out what it, she's like, maybe it's not Barbie and Ken. Maybe it's Barbie and it's Ken. And he's like, so he thinks, he's like, oh, what does that mean? So he's, I can see if they're already slating that sequel, that's what it's going to focus on. Ken finding himself and his purpose, which honestly, do I think it's necessary? No. But it would have a completely different message than the Barbie movie. It wouldn't be beating a dead fucking horse, which the movie, by the way, did a very good job about beating a dead horse. It literally threw it at you every 10 seconds. If you were not paying attention for 1 minute, if you got out and got popcorn, you didn't miss shit, because we're basically saying the same thing the entire time. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. I'm not saying it's fine, but it literally, there is no way you could have missed the message.
Yeah, you could.
And if you were like, oh, really like that, it means probably that you're a misogynist, or somehow you didn't get the book that was being thrown in your fucking face with the words that are now on your forehead. It was so insane to me, if you don't get it. But the only way for you to be my boss was I don't know if there's any guy that could like that movie. I know another one of my coworkers loved it, and he also a guy, and he was like, oh yeah, well somehow you didn't get it. I don't really know.
Guys who don't like that movie are the problem.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just like that she like also like somehow like snuck in like movies, you know what I mean? Like the Space Odyssey thing, the Matrix thing with the high heel and the Birkenstock, you know, red pill, blue pill, you know, and then like also the weird, like her getting to the real world really reminded me a lot of Elf. Like when he's like, and then I went through the land of the swirly, twirly gumdrops because he was at the North Pole and then like went into the real world basically to Manhattan. So like the weird journey that they had to take to get to the real world really reminded me of Elf. So like I thought it was extra special that Will Ferrell was also in it. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was a nice touch too. Like I don't know. I think it was done really well and it was visually gorgeous. That the Ken dance-off thing, not my favorite, but I also, as everyone knows, I'm not a musical person. You know, I like them dancing in the beginning, you know what I mean? But I just like the singing and I was just like, oh my God, what are you guys doing? No.
The dance battle.
Yeah. It was weird. It was weird.
It's something.
It was weird.
Having fun. She was having fun.
I just thought that's not my thing. And we all know that's not my thing, but I was kind of like, ugh. You know, for that moment. I did enjoy though on the beach when they were singing the Matchbox 20 song Push and they were like with the guitar and then the girls were like, okay, now we're gonna go flirt with other people and piss them off. Like that I loved. But the sing off, dance off situation that was happening, I was like, no, don't do this. Don't do this.
The beach off.
The beach off also I didn't love because I was like, I guess I saw in the trailer so many times.
Yeah.
That it was like, you know, by the time I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh, this. You know what I mean? But like those were like two moments, and then that last line really I didn't love either. But honestly, like overall, I definitely give it an A. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was done really fucking well. There was so many laugh out loud moments, and that is hard. Like I don't laugh out loud for shit. There were so many laugh out loud moments peppered throughout the movie. It wasn't like they were all in one place. Like it was continuously. Like it was a great ride, and it had a great message. And again, one more time, give it up to Michael Cera. Killed it all day.
Sleeper.
America Ferrera fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know what? Oh, that's funny. I read today that what's his name? The guy who played the king in Hamilton.
Oh, Jeff.
Jeff?
Oh,
how can I not remember?
No.
No. I think it's Jeff. Some with a G. It's a J and a G.
Jeff, yeah.
Groff. It's the last name.
Groff.
What's the first name? John Groff. Woo! We did it, guys.
We got there.
Got it.
That was definitely rough. But yes, so yeah, he was supposed to play Alan, and I'm like, well, I'm so glad that didn't happen. Like he would have been much better off as a Ken. 100%. You know what? I'll take an Alan fucking spinoff. He was epic.
Yes.
Alan and Weird Barbie. We should have a spinoff with Alan and Weird Barbie.
That'd be hilarious, actually. That'd be hilarious.
Kate
McKinnon fought so hard for Weird Barbie to be naked.
Really?
But they just would not let her do it.
Like, no. This is not Oppenheimer. You're not getting naked.
But it would have been so funny.
Plastic naked. It wouldn't have been real naked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone had
that would have been funny.
Naked Barbie.
It would have looked like Marilyn Manson when he had that whole thing, you know, for a while. He was doing concerts.
Yes.
Like the boobs and stuff. It would have looked like that.
I literally have a crate of Barbies that I played with too hard, and like most of them are naked. They're all in the splits, and most of them are naked for sure. Some of them don't have their heads, you know.
Barbies like to be naked.
Some of them are missing a leg.
Like Mr. It's just how it is.
Just what it is.
That would have been so great. Although I think what they did with her was great too.
I just think they need to leave it be like, let it. The magic, like, right here lasts, you know?
Yeah. I think the more you digest it, the more, like, you get the message of it, too. Because Barbie's first human experience as a woman is feeling self-conscious. And she's like, there's definitely undertones of violence to this. Where Ken's like, I don't feel any undertones of violence. Like, this is great.
Right.
And in Barbie world, before the Ken situation, the Kens aren't subjugated. They're ignored at worst. Like, no one's being violent towards Ken. No one's being mean to Ken. They're just not interested. Barbie's just like, I don't want you here. And that's as bad as it gets for Ken.
And he just feels bad because he's like, I don't know what to do.
When Ken sees the real world and sees the patriarchy, which is disappointingly not related to horses, they see them subjugating women. So when they go back to Barbie world, you see the physicists and president and whatever, all in these skimpy little maid outfits serving the men. So it just is a really stark contrast to like how all women want is to like maybe be left alone in a matriarchal society, but the men, when they take over, they're actively harmful to the women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, like, there's a lot more to it than I thought there was gonna be. A lot more substance and a lot more like statement and feeling and like, you know, having a point like that. Like, it's a lot more than I thought I was gonna have in a Barbie movie. I was expecting it to be not so heavy, but I mean, it had a good punch to it, you know. And it's just for a lot of women and a lot of people, I should say in general, that it's a great message to, and a lot of people that just aren't even getting it. That's a good message too. But Ken is Ken, and I think that's why that song too. Ken is just doesn't care about anything really. He's just hanging out, and he just Ken. And maybe it's it's going to be an idea. Maybe she has that in her mind where Ken will learn a lot and become a better person throughout time. But you can just leave it right here and be like, we know where this is going societally. We know where this is going to be. Just let this be. Don't touch it. You know, it's made its money. It's done great for you.
So
let it go.
Many movies about men becoming better people.
It never will happen, though. Yeah, it's going to come. It's going to happen. You're getting another one.
I feel like it's men being the same people.
Just let it be. Just let it be. And,
I feel like men really grow. I feel like women are always going through changes. Like, men are just like, okay, I won't do this anymore. I'll do this instead. And we're like, yay, good for you.
Well, even being so female focused, even being so Barbie focused, it still passes the reverse Bechdel test.
You're true. You're true. You're right. Yeah. There's definitely a lot. I mean, Ken himself is talking to other Kens and stuff, and they're having real conversations. Yeah. So it's real conversations. It's definitely a lot. I guess it's interesting.
Which Oppenheimer didn't pass the Bechdel test, which is absurd to me because then people are like, "Oh, well, it's a historical biopic." I'm like, you think this man didn't work around or know any women?
He definitely did, and
but he had a wife and a mistress. Yeah. Just FYI on that.
I still can't believe that Florence Pugh got naked in there. I was like, what?
All they had to do to pass the Bechdel test is have the wife have a conversation with the secretary for 5 seconds.
Yeah. And not talk about a man. That's
all it had to be. They could have just talked about literally the fucking weather. It's crazy wartime shit. World War II.
I still haven't...
anything. Literally anything. It would have been so fucking easy.
I still haven't seen it yet. I want to go see it maybe this weekend.
It's 3 hours and 20 minutes of not passing the Bechdel test.
Yeah. It's just $400 million. Pretty good for Nolan too. Pretty good win. Not Barbie money, but still very good. So for movie
Barbie
theaters
money.
In general, it's been a great week.
And
it's been great this one.
It benefited from Barbie. It benefited from the Barbie people going, oh, let's go see it. Let's go do Barbenheimer.
Yep.
Because that brought in a whole audience of people who otherwise would not have given a shit about a biopic about the dude who made the A-bomb. No,
I am killing Murphy's
it made half that much money.
Barbie's at $775 million at this moment.
I really
worldwide.
Want Barbie.
That's insane.
I want Barbie to be Dark Knight.
And when she pitched it,
Dark Knight. That would make me so happy.
To the studios, she was like, she said it would make $1 billion, and then afterwards she was like, okay, maybe it was a little bit of an overshoot, but we're trying to make a movie here, and it was not an overshoot at all. It will make $1 billion.
That was with the last week before it came out of promos being cut off, so they didn't even get their last week of promotion because of the strike. Because everyone was on strike.
Right. I was like, wait, what?
They ran a very smart marketing campaign.
Yeah, they really did.
They really did because the word was out there, and I think it just got people into seats. It just did. They built it up enough that even losing that week, people are still going out to see it again. This last weekend made a lot of money compared to what it should have. And, compared to how people always, the numbers work out. Oh, we're not going to make that much second weekend, and it's still going strong. So Barbie is still there, everybody.
We went to a Tuesday matinee, and it was sold out.
This fall?
Wow.
Yeah. It's wild. The Barbie revolution is happening right now, and we're all here to be spectators for it. So Barbie's winning over big time, everybody. If you haven't seen it yet, I think it's worth seeing just to because you got to see what's happening. You got to understand what's going on. You have to just see it for yourself because this is the time to get back to the theaters. It's summertime. Get out there and do it.
One more comment about Barbie real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really appreciated how they didn't tokenize the trans actor who was in it. The trans girl who played the doctor Barbie.
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't treat her any differently. They had her as like one of the main Barbies who had a lot of speaking roles. She wasn't just in the background. They didn't treat it as like a tokenized role. And I thought that was really, really excellent, because most of the time people will be like, oh, we cast a trans actor, and then just like put them in the background for 5 seconds and they don't even have a line. Just to say that they have diversity. But she had so many lines.
Yeah. She wasn't able to, she had a scheduling conflict of some sort. And so she like wrote to Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie and was like, please, 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 I want to be in this movie. So like, can we like work? And they like worked the schedule around her so that she could still be in it, you know? So not only did they not marginalize her, they worked around it so that she could, you know, she could be the part that she was cast as, you know what I mean? So that's fucking
everyone
awesome.
Who's a director or a casting person or anything, this is how you do allyship.
Yeah, absolutely. It was I read that and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
It just makes sense, like not even address that. You know, it's like she's Barbie. That's all it is.
Yeah, she's a Barbie.
Right.
There's
no. I mean, it's great. It's like this is Barbie.
She was. It was driving me nuts. Like where I knew her from. She was in You, the first season. She was married to You Watch You, right? Because Lexi doesn't watch it. The first season, she was the girlfriend of Do a Flip, Spider-Man. What's that guy's name? Yeah, the guy who worked at the bookstore.
Yeah, the writer. Yeah.
Yes.
She was the writer girl.
Yeah. And like she came to the dress-up party and then like they talked and like they were talking about like some Hemingway shit, some bookstore fancy like brainy shit. And then they moved in together and like they you know, Bex and him went to go help her move or whatever. I had no idea that she was even trans. No idea. And when I looked her up, like I saw the stuff. Yeah, I saw the stuff about the fact that she really wanted to be in it, and like she was posting something. She posted this whole long thing on Twitter. But I was trying to see where I knew her from, and that's how we found out that she was trans. No idea that she was trans. Honestly, and then also found out the Greta Gerwig thing.
Yeah.
If the press hadn't talked about it, no one would have any idea.
No idea.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about it when I saw her on You either. So I mean, I think like that's and like why like I don't know. I don't know that that's something that needs to even be said in the press. Like it's like I mean, if it's like something that you're like you know, if you're bringing light to like you know like okay, this is something that we should all be doing and like you know what I mean. But I just feel like it's why are you know? It's like. I don't know. I don't think that it needs to be spoken about, and that attention doesn't need. Like, you don't get a medal for casting the best person for the fucking part. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
the Barbie
a weird disconnect.
It was
I know that.
Like
I know that
news being like, the children, and like, go fuck yourself.
But literally, no one would know. So fuck off.
Very true. No one would know.
I know the Barbie people didn't put it out. I didn't mean to insinuate that. I mean, like, I don't know why. People would even like broadcast that, like you know what I mean? Like I don't know. It seems so like such a simple ask to just be human to each other. Period. To no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter what parts you have, whether you're smooth or going to the gyno, nobody needs to have a conversation about any of it. Like just treat people like you would like to be treated. It is the simplest of concept. It rings through every fucking religion, every philosophy. Like just do that. It is so not fucking hard. It's so not hard.
It shouldn't be hard.
So I like the fact that like, I loved that I didn't know that. And then I found that I was like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. You know, but when you said like, whatever, like, of course, Fox News, obviously, but like, that's just so disappointing that someone would have to do that. You know what I mean?
It's one of the only movies I've seen that had a fat actress in it where they didn't make a fat joke.
Yeah, but
they shouldn't be doing
that Barbie also exists. She's the real Barbie.
Yeah. But they should not be. Those jokes should be long gone now. Like people be people. People have their own skin. Let them live their lives.
I feel like now it's more dudes that they fucking do it to. As opposed, they leaned it more towards dudes. But you're absolutely right. It's like, but it's like literally about everything. But that is like that's to me what was wrong with Barbie. Like when I was playing with Barbie and I was little and there was only the one Barbie. You know, there was Skipper, but no one liked Skipper. She was the loser.
Yeah, we had like the blonde Barbie, the black Barbie, and the brown-haired Barbie, and that was all.
I did not have a black Barbie or a brown-haired Barbie when I'm way older than you. So I only had the blonde Barbie. There was like 19 different blonde Barbies.
Barbie's been out since the 60s. She's been around. She just wasn't very popular.
Right. Like there was like one Barbie like over on the side. You know what I mean? Like but they were flashing the new fucking blonde fucking perfect Barbie. Yeah. And the black Barbie also perfect, by the way. Also perfect. Just black. But perfect. Yeah. So body issues, like body wise. Like it was like you're playing with this doll and you're like, this is what I need to be when I grow up. And it is not easy. Like for the shape of a young person's mind to be like, this is what perfect looks like, and this is what I should be. So like it has like negative like impact on like your like I gained weight like when I quit smoking. I gained 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds. Then I then I went to Florida and I was working in Florida and they sold my cigarettes and I smoked again quite a bit. And then I lost the 10 pounds and then I came back and I stopped smoking again and I gained the 10 pounds back. I am miserable. Like I cannot be happy in my own skin. And that is like deep rooted shit from when I was a kid. Like that is what I saw. That is what I thought. You know, I used to have. I was anorexic. I ate lettuce and frozen yogurt for like a year of my life. You know, I was a cheerleader. You know what I mean? Like I always have had issues with my body and what I look like. And, you know, once I was chubby when I was younger and like people made fun of me and like I had glasses and I had braces and my hair was fucking frizzy and like I was chubby and I hated myself like every single day. And like when I was going through that, I threw all of my Barbie dolls in that crate that I was telling you about and I locked it up and I shoved it in the attic and I never wanted to look at it again because I would never be that. And it fucked me up. You know, and that's why when we first started talking about this movie, I was like, I don't want to see it. Like, she ruined my life, that bitch Barbie. Fuck her. She fucking made me feel like I was a fat piece of shit. And like, and society confirmed it, you know? And then like, once I anorexic myself for a year and a half and I was skinny, I just made sure that I ate 3 crackers and a pretzel every day. And that was it. And I was skinny my whole life. But not because I was healthy but you know what I mean? Like I made sure that I was that. And like quitting smoking and gaining 10 pounds has literally put me on. And I'm smart enough to know like that it's ridiculous, but I somehow still get out of the shower and cry. Like, and I feel like that's partially why I was against, you know, the Barbie movie. Cause I said that very first time we talked about it. You know, I'm like, it's so like, why are we celebrating someone who makes everyone feel bad about themselves? And like, you were the one that was like, that's not what it is. And this and that. And I listened to you. So thank you for that, by the way. And I had no idea that from when I was a kid to now that Barbie had diversified and like become more, you know, like representative of America as a whole or the world as a whole, not just America. You know, and that that it's not like just this perfect stereotypical Barbie, because that was the only Barbie that I knew. I obviously knew Skipper and I knew of Midge, but I didn't have a Midge. My mom didn't buy me Midge. And you know, also this movie is the antithesis. How do you say that properly? Antithesis, is that correct?
Yeah. Nailed it first time.
That it's the exact opposite of that. And I was so happy to see that and like be a part of it and experience it. And like, I mean, I don't know, it was very, and I actually, honestly, when we spoke about it the first time, Rachel, you were so adamant about it. And I was very adamant on my stance too, but you made me bend a little bit, honestly. So thank you for that. And all of what I just said, like from when I was growing up, is the reason why you should go see this movie, because it's not that at all, which is shocking and in the best way, surprising and fun. And like, there's so much depth in a movie about a plastic fucking doll. Like, it's amazing what they did with that film. I'm really so proud of Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. And once again, Michael fucking Cera, buddy. I'm having Alan spinoff all day. I'm in it.
Hopefully that it leads that, you know, that kind of feeling and that kind of motivation and inspiration for the younger generation for Barbie and for the older generation coming back to be like, Barbie is meant for everyone, and she's representing every version of every female out there, and you can do whatever you can, whatever you want, because that's the mission that you should be putting out there, the statement, as opposed to, bad, practical standards that you can't live up to. It shouldn't be that. Right. And I think Greta really had a statement there that, Barbie is all of us. We are Barbie, if you can. So, unless you're Ken, I should say. But it's a great movie for the box office, for moviegoers. We got to get back to the theaters, and this stuff's helping. Of course, we have the strike, so there's less and less content. But people are seeing Barbie. Oppenheimer is happening. There's more movies coming this summer, and hopefully it gets those people back in the seats, because we need it. So they need it more than ever. And AMC is not doing that bullshit anymore about the seats that we said earlier, so that's always good. But Barbie's a big hit. It's $775 million, and I bet next time we talk to you, it's going to be even closer, and I guess next week we'll be $1 billion for sure.
100%.
That beautiful Barbie B billion.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Being the Barbie will be for billions, and good for them, and good for Greta, and good for the cast and the crew, everybody that made this happen, because it's a very big production to make this happen, and a lot of people put a lot of time into it.
It was a $150 million budget. I was so shocked.
Yeah, it's.
Like, that's crazy.
That's how you do it right. I mean, that's how
you're right. You're right. They had to build that Barbie dream world.
Money. You got to make that money.
There was a world
Make up for it.
shortage of pink paint during the production of the movie.
Yeah, I heard about that. Hilarious, right? Hilarious. But it's so good.
It doesn't even make sense. You just put red and white and make pink. Like, what do you mean there's a shortage of pink paint? Paint only comes white. And then you tint it.
They bought it all. They bought all the pre-made pink in the world. So people are getting mad. They can mix it faster than they can make it.
Listen, I live at Home Depot in the Oops paint, okay? You can't tell me you can't make pink paint. Come on.
They only had Pepto paint. Nobody wanted that. But anyways, everybody, we're going way over here. I'm happy this has been working.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking.
Hopefully this last half has worked better than the first half. It seems like it is. I guess I'll go back and check it out. But thank you for being here on Kruse Control. We are back. We're back.
Sorry about the comments, guys. It's not on the same page, and I was ranting, so I wasn't clicking back and forth.
Some stuff. Hopefully that's it with the technical stuff. And, again, it's the first show in this situation. So thank you for being here. As always, appreciate you. And check out Barbie if you haven't. And, maybe we'll watch Rocky Sock'em Robots when that comes out, too. You never know. Go see Barbie.
Go see Barbie.
Will make you cry.
Make you cry.
And it will make you laugh out loud many, many, many times.
But anyways, everybody, please like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And as always, you gotta tell your friends, your family, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your nephews, your squirrels, your chinchillas, your gophers, your freaking otters, because otters are fucking awesome. I love otters. You can see them on the internet. They're fucking crazy. They love it. So otters, chinchillas, kangaroos, flying squirrels, black squirrels, red squirrels, blue squirrels, all the squirrels in the world, even if they're assholes, everybody out there, the freaking hedgehog that attacks the mailman, get him too. Watch Kruse Control there. Everybody because we gotta get that word up there. We have reached 500 subscribers. I think we're like 512 right now.
512, woo!
Awesome, everybody. We're going to do a little celebration for this week, too, because 500, big step. Thank you so much for being here. As always, we love you. Happy Monday. Let's get back into this week. And we'll be back Wednesday with you. So, Rachel, thank you for being here. As always, I appreciate you on Kruse Control.
And you look lovely with your blonde. I love it so much.
World.
All of the Barbie. You're bringing me all of the Barbie. I love it.
And Sabrina as well, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And R.I.P. Pee Wee Herman, everybody. It's crazy times, but it's life. So thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care and see ya.